today is all about change. So let me call to order the board meeting today, January the 24th of the Pasco County, January 21st, 2026. Call to order Pasco County Mosquito Control District Commissioners meeting. Join me in a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call. Who do we have here today? Sound off there, Randy.
Evans here.
Cox is here.
Abbott's here.
Executive Director Roger present.
Okay. Look for, Will,
If I may suggest an amendment to the agenda before you approve it.
yeah, sure, that sounds great.
If we could move up new business item A, reorganization of the board officers, above the consent agenda public comment. I think that would be an appropriate move since we do have an unusual structure, just different from what we're expecting with a member of the public on the video link for the meeting today.
Okay. That's good with me. Let's do that. So, we'll jump to item 7, reorganization of the board. And, okay. So in 2026, I believe that I step aside and Commissioner Cox, you have become chairman, correct?
If that's what we approve.
That is the next rotation. Yes, Commissioner Cox would become chairman for the 2026 calendar year. We would also then have Commissioner Evans serving as secretary of the board, and Commissioner Abbott will assume the role of treasurer.
I will make a motion and to that effect.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. And didn't get to use this much, but I'm sure that you might.
Ceremonially passing the big apple, thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Okay, a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Have a motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, public comment. We have a couple people signed up in person. First one is John Cup. Welcome, John.
Good morning. John Coe, 1335 Solitaire Place, Holiday. I worked here for 21 years, and I'll admit I really never went on the website to look at it, because 5 years or so ago I did, and there wasn't much on there. But I went on there last week, and I could not believe the stuff that is on there. I mean, I'm watching the spray coming out of the tubes out of the helicopter, you know, while they're spraying it. All the everything that happens around here is online. I mean, it's amazing. The parades, everything you guys do. Adrian's making these public announcements. I know Maria has a big hand in all of that stuff. I mean, I think they do a fabulous job. I couldn't believe it. Wayne is doing stuff. You're taking all these pictures. CJ's explaining the new foggers going to electric. I didn't know that. You know, but hats off to you guys for doing all that. I mean, I know there's groups out there trying to put you down all the time, but no, hats off. I mean, talk about transparency. I mean, excellent job. I could not believe the difference from what it was years ago. Everything is on there. You've got all the trucks and the vehicles parked in the chemical building. The entomology team is standing there. They took a picture. it's fabulous. Now, I don't know if that's common with all mosquito controls, you know, but I know you were always, you know, one to put everything out there, let the people know what we're doing. But I was impressed. I'll definitely go on there more often now. But yeah, for the longest time, I didn't go on there. I admit it. But yeah, that's great. Great job, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now I go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Refillings.
Have the mosquito control me or go to the dentist. Kathy, Julian, you are up.
Good morning. I live in Pasco County. I think it's interesting that there is zero discussion of the financial reports. You do have a relatively small budget when it's compared to the county, only $12 million in revenue. But sneaking through that $2.4 million last time was pretty slick. It's still not on your website. The paperwork showing how you carried over $2.4 million from last year. As an accountant myself, I find that strange that you didn't know you were gonna have $2.4 million left over. Clearly you did, because you do have a CFO here, so clearly you did. But you wanted to be able to increase the budget this year after the scrutiny that comes in September. So I get it, hiding things. But I'm curious why you had to add $250,000 to employee benefits, $600,000 to chemicals. I get that, you guys spend a lot of money on chemicals. But then the capital outlay, can't read it, I printed it too small, 1 point something, but it adds up to 2.4. But the real reason why I'm here today is you shouldn't be having this meeting today. You didn't publish your financial information or your board packet before the meeting. It's still not up online, or it wasn't up online last night after business hours. According to state law, from my reading of it, all of these materials should be online 7 days prior to the meeting, but they certainly should be online the day before the meeting. I was supposed to be in Tallahassee this week, up at Lobby Days for an organization I'm part of. I didn't end up going, but my cohorts from that organization are talking to the people up there in Tallahassee about you guys. I just actually got a text message from somebody who's up there. The other thing that was said to me by an elected official of the county is, somebody like the mosquito control, you guys are in trouble when people know you exist. You're supposed to exist under, nobody's supposed to really know, you kill mosquitoes, people are thankful for it, but they don't really pay that much attention. The attention you guys have brought to yourself is a problem, and that is recognized by other elected officials throughout the county. But this meeting should not be happening today. You know that, I know that, we all know it. I did send an email last night, which was ignored. But you guys just continue to think you can operate outside of Florida statute, and I don't know that that's true. The other thing that I found out this week is it's kind of fascinating to me. At least 2 of you guys, your jobs are related to licenses you have. If you get a felony charge, is that going to affect your license?
All right, thank you. Laura, are you attempting this?
Yeah, can I normally do not respond to comments from the public because they have a public right to speak whatever they want. I do just want to clarify some things related to the requirements that we're not meeting the law. So under section 189.069, which is dealing with special districts and their websites, there is a requirement that the agenda needs to be noticed and posted on the website. Many years ago, we also had a requirement that any materials that were available at the time the agenda was posted would also have to be posted. Because lawsuits were filed, because sometimes it's hard to turn all those documents into ADA compliant documents. In 2020, the legislature changed the law and eliminated that requirement. So from a 189.069 website posting, that is not a legal requirement. We're not in violation of that. As it relates to noticing, in chapter 189, the district, in accordance to that section, the district notices its meetings annually, and they they notice all of their meetings in one notice, and that's actually what the statute says. We can notice it at one time, semi or quarterly. This meeting was noticed in an ad that had all the districts' meeting notices. So from a 189 standpoint, we met those requirements, both from a noticing as well as what's on the website. From Sunshine Law does not require you to notice on your website any materials at all. And we, what's interesting is under Sunshine, the statute says we just have to give reasonable notice of a meeting. 189 is much more restrictive on special districts than other governments, and we have to give meeting notice at least 7 days prior. So I just want to point out that there's a legal requirement to have our materials on the website under 189. And Coach, I know the statutes sometimes are hard for some reason. When I put a statute in, it keeps pulling up like 2023 and not 2025. So I just wanted to let the board know we are not in violation of 189.069 or the statutes related to properly noticing this meeting.
Thank you, Attorney Donaldson. I appreciate the fact-checking live, so I appreciate that. So nobody else has signed up in person for public comment. There was some question or request for folks to be able to watch the meeting live and potentially comment in the trying to be as transparent as we possibly can and inclusive. Edwin, is there anybody online who would like to have a public comment? So this deviates a little bit from our policy. I do believe that we should amend our policy to allow that if the board so desires. I don't really have a concern about it, but.
There is one person from the public
Okay.
indicated that they want to speak in the chat.
They have not? Okay, all right. So we will move on to new business. Well, before we leave there, would the board want to entertain a change to the policy to allow participation during public comment from online?
How do we verify who they are?
I think it'd be the same thing as I'm standing at the podium. They have to declare that they are a resident of Pasco County or not, you know.
Yeah, when I see auctions for houses and condos, I see folks go online and put in bids that are not real. But I don't know, I have a concern about it, but it's up to you all.
Yeah, I don't particularly care for it. I like someone being here to identify themselves and face our accuser, so to speak, and
Yeah.
who knows if it's someone in China or an AI bot or something doing it. And I don't know, it's worked this long.
Okay. So, there seems to be consensus that we do not want to allow that. I'm gonna take your comments as that.
No, keep it the same.
So, are you okay with people being able to view the meeting live?
Sure.
Sure. So can we set that up? Attorney Donaldson?
Sorry, meeting chat just popped up. A meeting chat just came up, and this is obviously part of the public record, so if someone can screenshot this, asking that, is it possible to have message-related policies? So my suggestion, if the board was going to look at letting people online, we would look at what other local governments are doing and structure a process that way, but it sounds like that is not what the board wants to do. I do, as it relates to doing meeting chats, it just makes it difficult because those are public records, and as people keep, it's hard to respond to things on the meeting chat.
Yeah, so that's a good point. That's a good point. You know, so I think the county allows people who have business before the commission to participate via online. So if we can mirror what the county does, I think that would be the best option at doing that. And if, you know, the board wants to allow public comment in person only, then I think that's fine. You've already had your
I
chances,
was
so
just
you've
gonna-
already had your
I
chances,
was
so
just
you've
gonna
already,
tell you.
if you
Okay,
continue to
that's fine.
talk, I'll have you removed. You've had your 3 minutes. So, if you can just come back to us.
Yeah, I
Or
will
something
come
like
back, at the next meeting, I'll come back with some things that you guys can look at it, and you can go from there.
Okay, very good. All right, so we will move on to new business. Next item of business is 7B, check signing rotation by the board. Whose item is this?
This would be mine.
Okay.
I'd like to bring forward an item for discussion regarding the district's check signing rotation. Now, historically, the board has rotated check signing authority among commissioners on a monthly basis. So you all would be designated a month. You would come in every week to sign the paper check. However, with our transition to electronic check signing, bi-weekly electronic signing and the payment cycle, I'm looking for direction on whether the monthly rotation, whether you all want the monthly rotation to continue, or if you want to see if there's a more practical, effective approach. Specifically looking for guidance on if you wish to maintain that monthly rotation, or if you would like to consider designating or having the treasurer assume that role. We do have, since you all implemented the monthly review, to have another commissioner review them, we've got that in place. In looking at other special districts, I've seen it done both ways. So as we've made this shift to the digital process, do you still want to continue that, or look at an alternate approach?
That's a good point. I have done the electronic version. I'm currently doing it this month, and I find it to be very detailed, comprehensive, and easy user interface. So I would leave it up to you all, how you all want to go forward. I'm fine doing it throughout the year, but if you want to rotate monthly or quarterly, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to use the new system?
No,
You haven't yet?
no,
Okay.
February is my month.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like the new system. I mean, it's easy to go in and see the backup materials, and to review all of that. I'm certainly open to allowing the treasurer to do it. Sort of in the back of my mind is, so we're gonna have a new auditor, and one of the items that I'm gonna ask our new auditor to look at when they do the audit is to make sure that in their opinion, we have good checks and balances in place, you know, just as a way of, you know, making sure that what we've done, you know, they feel like it's appropriate. And, you know, maybe we ask them that question about, you know, who's signing the checks, but, I mean, it ultimately, it really doesn't matter, I don't think, who ultimately signs the check. It's the responsibility of us to review the items. And, you know, every month, the financials are part of our packet. And I'm sure that the two of you are like myself, where I review them in great detail. And if I have questions regarding them, I reach out to staff before the meeting. That's why those routine matters, that's why, you know, a consent agenda was invented, to be able to approve routine matters in one motion, as opposed to visiting each and every one of them. So, I think that as long as, you know, that portal is made available to all commissioners, it probably makes sense to just have one of us continue to sign the checks.
For additional context, and perhaps Commissioner Abbott, you can help since you have the most tenure on the board. My understanding is that we had the monthly rotation just to alleviate the burden on any one of you coming in every week of the year, 52 weeks of the year versus a quarter of that.
Mhm.
Because it is a lot to ask someone to come in, once every week for the entire year. You all have other jobs outside of this.
Right, and it was very cumbersome and paper related up until recently. So it's smooth now, but I do listen to Commissioner Cox's input about the audit firm. So when would they be in place if when we select one?
Well, they'll start what, in June or July, right, the audit?
Well, the audit has to be completed by that time.
Oh,
And so
okay. All right,
the
that's
idea
right.
is to get someone in here pretty quickly. So we do have on the agenda today for you all to make a determination as to which firm you would like us to move forward with. But so really, as soon as we can negotiate the terms, we would have some work beginning with the new, whichever auditing firm you all select.
Okay, what if we do this? Why don't we have the treasurer sign it going forward, and then we'll double check, get the input from the audit firm once they join up, once we select them, just to make sure that, they think that's the best business practice.
I was just gonna suggest that since Commissioner Evans has not experienced the new system,
Okay.
since next month is his month, then, that gives him a perspective that he currently does not have.
Mhm.
So, and given the fact that, we're gonna be engaging with the auditor very soon, then I would just say, not to respectfully disagree with you, just say, leave everything the way it is right now until after, the audit firm does their job.
I'm good with that.
Are you fine with that?
I guess. I have no experience with it, so I'm wondering if like Commissioner Abbott is gonna be treasurer now, how burdensome is that for him to have to do this for the entire year? I mean, I would
It's
certainly
not.
be willing to pop in and take care of it.
No, it's not, like I say, I'm okay with whichever way you decide, but certainly it's not a burden to me. It's now bi-weekly, and it's a smooth interface.
So with that, I know, Adrian, you're wanting to make a decision here because we have the accounting firm.
Next on the agenda.
Yeah, so should we be making a decision today on this so we can go forward, or?
Nothing has to happen immediately
Okay.
on this item.
All right.
It's not contingent upon a selection of a new or, if we go with the existing auditing firm. And so it's really a preference of the board. I think it makes sense for you to get the experience under your belt and see how different and how easy it is now to sign checks versus coming in every week of that month to sign the physical forms, the physical checks. And so I'm okay doing it
Okay.
that way if that's the preference of the
Sure.
board. It's no different from what we're doing already, so we don't
Alright.
have to change it immediately.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, so we'll move on to audit firm selection.
Okay.
Jose
The-
or Adrian?
The Audit Selection Committee met on January 7th, 2026, to review and evaluate the proposals that were received for in response to the district solicitation for auditing services. So at this time, does a member of the committee have a recommendation to present as to which firm they would like to move forward with?
Well, the minutes reflect that committee, AKA us.
So the committee has selected Grau and Associates as the auditing firm moving forward for the next 4 years. And I'm presenting that for your approval to move forward with that decision.
Anybody have any changes on that?
Nope.
Okay, so, we need a motion to approve Grau and Associates and allow, the staff to, negotiate the contract with them.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, ratification of legal services contract. Ms. Donaldson, would you like to explain what's going on?
Yes, I feel like I just got divorced. No, as you know, my law firm was a boutique law firm, and I've been with, first I call my managing partner since 2003. He decided that he wanted to go up counsel earlier this year because at 65 he wanted to start a different company. And so effectively my law firm has restructured, and each of the 4 partners have created their own law firms. And so I'm in Tallahassee, my Tallahassee office right now. I have an office in Tampa. We're up and running already, and so it's just under the Florida bar rules. We're required to notify all of our clients, and then they have the option of deciding whether or not to stay or go elsewhere. And so I request that you guys ratify, and so that we can continue to move forward. I know it's been quite a busy week when you'll hear about or month when we get to the real estate item on the agenda. And so I appreciate the consideration.
Okay. Laura, so I have a question. Your proposed contract identifies hourly rate of 300. What were we paying under the I'll call it the previous law firm?
I think 275. Effectively, I had not raised my rates in a very long time. Unlike my private clients, where I included language that says every year I can reevaluate and increase the rate, that is not within your contract. So if I wanted to change my hourly rate, I would have to come back to the board and you guys would have to approve it.
And how long is, I'm trying to remember, I read it, but I don't remember, the term of the contract?
It's in your packet.
We don't have a term. You can fire me at any point.
Okay, well, that's why I don't remember it.
I mean, I hope you don't fire me, but yes, you guys, at any point, I could be fired. Because if not, then I'm coming back, and every single time I come back to renew, then there's a possibility that, right, I mean, it takes me a very long time to increase my rates, because I just don't like going back to the boards and asking for more money. I will say this is quite a discount based on what I charge my private clients.
As it should be.
Yes, yes.
And for comparison, some of the other special taxing districts for mosquito control have district council that is higher than that.
Oh, well, yeah, I realize that the rates are in line, there's no question about that.
It looks like to me, reading there, it's really ad hoc services, right? I mean, it's not a contract, it's a relationship.
Yeah.
Which is what we have now.
Right, which is fine. I mean, I'm certainly okay with it, because it's been a great relationship.
I'm very pleased with our services. So I'm good with it.
And just to confirm, it is $2.75 an hour.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jose.
So,
Yes.
you making a motion?
Shall
Yes.
I? I make a motion that we retain Laura Donaldson.
And authorize the chair to sign the contract?
Yes.
Is there a contract? Does it require a signature, Laura?
This is-
Yeah, so, this is really a ratification because of everything going on right now. I've been providing legal services, so I think that if you just ratify what's in front of you, we're good.
Okay, all right, you got it. Okay. All right, so we have a motion to ratify the legal services contract with Laura Donaldson.
Yes.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Unfinished business, surplus contract. Ms. Donaldson, you're back on deck.
So it has been joyful times, since our last meeting. I have, and I'll let Adrian pop in as well, because we just got another email. Since our last board meeting, the district, I have on the district's behalf filed code enforcement, complaints related to the property. I have, but I have submitted, orally a complaint to the Southwest Florida Water Management District. In fact, last night I had dinner, with the executive director and showed him the pictures that we have of the operation. And just to kind of keep that on the radar, I've also talked to Pinellas County, their utility department, related to the activities on the county's property. Needless to say, we've been very active in trying to resolve this issue. I've also had multiple conversations with the buyer related to how do we proceed. So Adrian, do you want to talk about the code enforcement stuff before I get to the amendment? Like what you've been doing with Mike, or do you want me to continue on with that?
I can go over the correspondence with the county administrator if you think that's appropriate at this time. So in working with Mike Carvala, with the county administrator, trying to understand what their response is going to be to the complaint that we filed through code enforcement. And actually, as we're sitting here, I just received some additional correspondence. So we, essentially what we're trying to establish is that we understand that there is no conditional use agreement in place through the county to allow for the dirt bike track to exist on this property, and so
So
our
what they're
ask.
doing there right now is illegal.
That is our understanding of the matter, yes, and so our ask is the county going to shut it down until there is a formal approval in place, if at all? And so the latest information just received from the county, give me a moment as I pull it up, directly from code enforcement, is that the county is initiating code enforcement action on the property, and the director of code compliance was copied on some of this, and they're hoping that they will be able to provide updates as we move through the process. However, they are just not complete with their review at this time, and so we do have the the amendment to allow for the 30-day extension that you all approved at the emergency board meeting back in December, on the 22nd of December, to allow the purchaser an additional 30 days to investigate the issue. And so I think we need to ratify that first amendment to the purchase and sale agreement that you all granted at the emergency meeting in December, and approve the minutes from that meeting. But then at this time, I think you need to consider additional time to allow this investigation to continue to unfold, because we don't have, go ahead.
Yeah,
Ms.
I'm sorry,
Allison.
Mr. Rhodes, yeah, so I was gonna say, so the board needs to, as the executive director said, because we approved the First Amendment at the emergency meeting, we under statute need to ratify that decision and that amendment. You also, because that was a sunshine meeting, need to ratify the minutes.
Okay, so we already, let me just jump in, we already approved the minutes under consent agenda, so that's done.
Okay. Okay, I didn't have a copy of what minutes you guys approved on the consent
Yep, yep.
agenda, if it was just, okay, perfect. So, so we have that, the buyer is still interested in buying property. I did want to let you know about well, Adrian, why don't we do the ratification, and then I'll talk about the amendment, because this second amendment is slightly different than the First Amendment, and I kind of want to go into the thought process and the reasoning behind the changes. So it would be great if we could get a motion to ratify the amendment that was approved at the emergency meeting.
Okay, so the chair would entertain a motion to approve the actions taken by the board on the December 22nd, 2025 emergency meeting.
So moved.
So I have a motion, is there discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, so, the buyer who is still interested in buying the property, their, position is, they just need to see long-term if there is going to be a dirt bike approved by the county. So they are doing things on their end, and having the conversation, recognizing that there is some sensitivity about this project in the district. I had asked the buyer if they would be open. So, let me back. So, we were hoping not to have this amendment in front of you today. What the buyer told me is if code enforcement and the county had issued an order to basically the property owner to stop the dirt bike before today's meeting, they would have been fine with letting the $77,000 go hard, which is non-refundable. Why we dealt with, while the code enforcement stuff was issued. So that was their position, because they're looking at it from a long-term standpoint. Unfortunately, we did not get an order. The county doesn't move that quickly, and with all the holidays. And so they had asked if we could give them another 30 days extension so that we could deal with the code enforcement stuff. I asked, and they did agree. One of my concerns was every single time we give them an extension, we're pushing the rezoning period and the closing period back by 30 days. So every single, like when we did it the first time, it was pushed. And now we've got this new amendment that would be pushing it until the next board meeting. Because ultimately, we're trying to get this deal done. I asked if they would agree to put a hard date on the rezoning and the closing date. So as we deal with this front end, which is really protecting when the $77,000 goes hard, and they agreed. So unlike the amendment that you just ratified, this amendment takes you to the next board meeting. And then it also puts in specifically that the rezoning period ends November 1st, 2026, and closing must occur before December 2nd, 2026. Which I think gives the district some protection that as we are dealing with these extensions on the front end, we're not pushing the actual sale of the property on the back end.
What was the original date on the closing? Is that one and the same?
So it would have been, so the way it was set up, it was all based on dates from when the inspection period. So it's like the inspection period, and then it was so many days from the inspection period, and then so many days from the closing. So this is, it includes the first 30 days extension, but it didn't include additional 30 days extensions. So I think, I don't have it in front of me, but we probably would have had to close by like November 1st, 2026, under the original agreement.
Okay, makes sense.
But that got pushed when we did the amendment,
Right.
last amendment.
Okay,
And I will say, they are working really hard to try, it's a multifaceted approach. The district is taking steps, the buyer is taking steps to get this dirt bike issue resolved. I will say, according to correspondence from the county, the property owner stated that this has been there for 5 years, and they were told by the county that they could do it. A quick look at the aerials shows that this track really started in 2024, this large track. So my recommendation is that we approve the amendment. If we don't approve the amendment, then today the buyer's money goes hard, and so the buyer potentially could terminate the purchase and sale agreement today in order to not go hard on that $77,000. And it may be $77,500, I don't know the exact total amount.
Has all the board members had a chance to read the
Yes.
proposed amendment? Okay.
Yes.
I have, okay, I have as well, and I understand it. So, Ms. Donaldson, so could you just restate again what you said about, the buyer willing to move forward with the contract if the county takes some actions? What actions specifically are they looking for them to do?
Okay. Yeah, so, as it relates to the money going hard and the end of the inspection period, which that's what this amendment, one part of this amendment, especially that.
Yep.
The buyer was willing to let the money go hard, the first part of the money to go hard, if before today's meeting, the county had issued an order to the property owner saying, you must stop, you don't have the legal authority to do a dirt bike. We did not get that, partially because there's a whole process that the county has to go through.
Yeah.
And they had to investigate whether or not there was a site plan
Yeah.
on this property and all of that. So the buyer was willing to lose that money, if they had gotten the order, cause at that point, at least we could see the county was doing something, right, cause it would be official. And as it relates to their long-term plans, right, it will be a problem for the district to sell this property to developers who are gonna put $600,000 to $700,000 valued homes when there is a dirt bike across the street that's very loud.
Yep.
Bottom line. So they are working through the proper channels related to what they need to do from a county standpoint. Like, we're involved with it from a, right now, to get it shut down because it's not legal, we would come back to the board. If they do file a site application, the board will need to have a discussion at that point, because it does potentially substantially devalue your property across the street if that dirt bike goes in there. But that can occur once, if the property owner actually puts in an application to do a site plan.
Right,
Conditional
that
use.
whole process then begins, it will ultimately come down to a public hearing before the planning commission and the board of county commissioners, of which we can have, say at that. And then probably absolutely the worst case scenario is the ultimate end would be that, which is probably where it's gonna head, is that they will allow it, but put conditions on the approval of it. And that's where by the buyer is, if they're willing to allow that $77,000 to go hard, then that tells me that they feel pretty confident that they can either A, stop it, or B, put conditions on it that they can live with. So, do you agree with that analysis?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I do agree with that. I just think right now, because nothing's been in writing, they're not comfortable doing it now. My hope is at the next meeting, I do not have an amendment in front of you. They really, this was not our preferred path, but until we get something from the county, more than an email, that basically says you must stop, that's why they're asking for it. So hopefully that can get done by the county before the next board meeting, and, we do not have to come back on this issue, unless they file an application to, get the approval.
Yeah, okay.
So, I do have another question for you, Laura. Listening to Chairman Cox about conditional potential down the line, maybe conditional approval. Pasco County, as we know, has a pretty tight noise ordinance. So who should we contact, the Sheriff's Department or Code Compliance, but who would take the measurements and see where things stand with the noise? Because this really is about noise pollution. It's not so much about where the track's located, it's about the noise in residential communities, which it makes it not a good place for residential development. So what's your thoughts on that?
Commissioner, so I would say right now, I don't feel like it's that relevant because it's not legally allowed. So whether or not they were making a little noise or a lot of noise, it's still not legally allowed. I do believe it will be important as it goes through. If they file an application, it will go through, and as the chair talked about, like the conditions, there already is a noise ordinance in place, so I believe at that point, that's when it's gonna get, more details. Now, if they get approved, and, then I think at that point, it's a code enforcement issue, and they go out with the noise thing, and I believe that's the path that we would go down at that point.
Well, so if code is involved, there's a couple things here going on. Number one, the activity is illegal. So that's code's issue number one. Number two, as you appropriately brought up, they're violating the noise ordinance as well. So that's another code violation. So it's not just the fact that, hey, they're running motorcycles out there. And there's probably some other code violations that they've committed that we're not aware of. So, with code going out there, they should be investigating all this and say, this isn't allowed, that's not allowed, this isn't allowed, and they red tag them, so to speak, to have them stop the activity. If they don't stop the activity, then the county attorney's office would probably look to get a cease and desist against them, and it goes through the process.
So I have more to add to it. Televari made contact with me yesterday at the Homeowners Association, and they also have a CDD there. One of the things that they've been struggling with is on the northwest corner of their property, which is the southwest corner of our property, that there's been four-wheeler activity and also shooting. They've contacted the Sheriff's Department over that, which then led into their conversation that talked about noise problems they've been having since November 2025. They didn't know where to go with that, but the residents in Conquistador Court, Loop, I'm sorry.
So that's the one that butts our property?
That's right.
Okay.
Have been discussing since November the noise pollution that they're getting into their community. So that's kind of where it stands right now. They were trying to work with their CDD, and they were going down the wrong path. CDD is not a law enforcement group, code enforcement group, but they just don't know any better what to do with noise pollution.
Did you encourage them to file a complaint with code enforcement?
I did not. I told them that there's there's availability out there, there is the sheriff's department, and there's code enforcement, and it's their neighborhood, and they need to determine what is good for them.
Right, right. Well, when this goes, you know, eventually, if it goes to a public hearing, then I'm assuming they're within 1,000 feet.
850.
Okay, so they'll be notified. Not all of them, so a good portion of them will be notified. And
What's the range?
I think it's 1,000 feet.
I see.
So if they're notified, then they need to show up and, you know, let their voices be heard and write letters, send emails, you know, and comment in every fashion that they can, and let their voices heard. So, you know, that's, but the first thing they should do is the CDD or the HOA should file a complaint. You know, along with ours, obviously. So.
Right. Okay. Well, that's all for me.
All right.
I'm good with this agreement, Laura. It's good that you've spent and looked into all the detail, and I do like the fact that you're, even though there's this one obstacle right now, the rest of the due
Deadlines.
diligence that they're doing is running parallel, and a time frame is set now once we sign this, or once we agree to this, so that things keep moving forward on timeline. So thank you for doing that.
Of course, I thought that was important just for a lot of different reasons, that, you know, I did not want this to become continuous extensions. Normally when you do extensions under real estate deals, you know, they have to put additional money down. This is a unique situation. These are trying to, you know, we really don't want them to walk away and have to start over again. But I appreciate the comment, Commissioner.
All right, is there any further discussion?
No? None?
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, general information, agenda topic 9A, Director's Report, District Operations, Adrian.
All right, Chairman. I do want to circle back to address the transparency and board packet item that was raised earlier, just in a little bit more detail. So as District Council already informed during today's meeting, under Florida law, the district is not required to post the board packet materials online. In 2025, last year, we made the decision to voluntarily put the board packet information on the website as a courtesy and as an additional transparency measure for the public. We had been doing that, again, not required, but voluntarily doing that to increase transparency. As we're moving into 2026, and after very careful consideration, we're adjusting that approach. As a member of the public already identified, because each document that we put on the district's website carries with it both direct and indirect costs associated with posting documents or any attachments onto the website, including staff time and resources necessary to ensure that what we're doing is compliant with the ADA requirements, which is a legal requirement to be posted all materials on special district websites. These requirements are important, but they do add measurable costs and administrative burden to the district, as some of these board packets are several hundred pages long, depending on what the agenda items might be and the financials for that particular month. So in an effort to remain transparent while also being fiscally responsible and operationally efficient, we will no longer be posting the full board packets online, beginning with this January meeting today, 2026, and moving forward. But instead, what we are going to be doing, again as a courtesy, providing a complete printed board packet, which is on the other side of the room there. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. And that is publicly available binder with all of the associated board materials that will be in this boardroom 30 minutes prior to every board meeting for members of the public to come in and review the materials contained in its entirety before the meeting begins. This approach ensures that we are continuing to try to provide access to the information while remaining compliant with public records laws and transparency requirements.
Can I just stop you right there?
Yes,
So,
sir.
what does it mean to be ADA compliant? I hear this all the time, and to be very frank, I don't exactly understand what that means. I mean, last night I attended Newport Richey City Council meeting, and you know, I was able to, on my phone, go to their website, go to their calendar, click on the council meeting, pull up their agenda, which was a PDF document, and then the whole council packet on my phone. So why can't we do that?
Because there's a cost associated with every piece of paper, every page of a document that is put on our website to become ADA compliant. So the website host that we're using, there's a process that identifies or brings into ADA compliance every one of those documents, and we pay by page. The specific cost, help me remember, Lindsay,
Yeah, it's
is-
a group, so it's up to 2,000 pages, it's 150-ish.
It's a subscription cost that you pay
essentially.
for every one of these items to be monitored for ADA compliance to ensure that they are accessible for people who may have a handicap. And I'm sure district council can articulate that a little bit better, what the actual ADA compliance law requires. But for us, it means that we are paying per page for every one of these
But-
items that we put on our website.
So we're talking, would you say, Lindsay, $150 for 2,000 pages?
Yeah, up to 2,000, so we
So
want to
that
try to
would be
stay.
per meeting.
No, that's like our total documents online, period. So that includes all of our informational stuff, everything that's on our website is wrapped up into that 2,000 pages. So
Okay.
the more we add to it would increase our, right now we're 100% compliant. Everything on our website is 100% ADA compliant. But if we continue to add more, then that just is going to exponentially increase our costs.
So, but you can also take stuff down, right?
Some stuff, right? So we wouldn't want to remove our informational.
No, the stuff
packets.
that's relevant all the time, but.
So 2
but-
years of our meetings, minutes, agendas has to stay up online.
Okay,
to
so
be-
but after 2 years, then they can be
That
pulled
chunk
off.
can come down,
They can be
exactly,
pulled
yeah,
off.
and we do that,
Right,
Yeah.
but we maintain those records, obviously.
obviously.
Right. I don't know, I mean, from a transparency standpoint, I just feel like the more transparent we are, the better. You know, none of us have anything to hide or anything of that nature, and I just feel like we need to continue to put it online.
Which is precisely what we've been doing. I mean, in recent years, we've been adding more content to the website. We've been
Yeah.
posting all of the board materials, but it does come at a cost. And so, I mean, if that's the pleasure of the board to continue to allow that, then that fiscal burden
So-
is going to continue to increase.
So if we exceed the 2,000 pages, what happens? We have to pay another $150 for
Pay
another
more for the
2,000
It-
pages?
It could be more, yeah, I don't know what the next
I
tier
mean-
is, but yes.
That's sort of peanuts, in my opinion, so. It's not worth, my opinion, it's not worth the headache of the criticism, or the, I mean, you guys make the board packet a public record when you send it out to us, right? And that's been coming well in advance of the meeting. So what is gonna be the cost of someone wanting to come in here and examine that? I mean, there's a cost associated with that. So, I mean, you weigh it off, I just think that you
So
need to put it out there when you send it to us.
If someone wanted to come and examine the packet, that's why we have that available, because we, other than the cost of printing the document out, and ensuring that the room is open 30 minutes prior to the meeting, there's no cost. Now, if someone wishes to make copies of it, that would be subject to our public records policy, and then we could charge the individual each one of those pages. There's a rate that we can charge to make that record available so that they can have their own copy of it. So I mean.
There's a cost of printing that thing too.
Well, and that's what I said, the cost of
Yeah.
printing the pages.
Again, I'm only one person here, but my opinion is that we publish it when you send it to us and let the public see it. Who cares?
Mr. Chair, can I just make one clarification?
Yes, ma'am.
So one of the reasons why, so the ADA stuff is very interesting, like when you have a picture, you've gotta have description and there's an audio. But the reason why we were successful in changing the statute, and I don't mean we, the district, but the Florida Association of Special Districts had the statute changed, was really related to procurement documents. When you guys do procurements, right, you just went through the auditing one. The district does have the owner's advisor going through the process. We'll eventually be doing a construction one. Those packets are very difficult to get them into ADA compliance. And so I would just be mindful that if the board goes and says, okay, everything in the packet, at least as it relates, not trying to hide anything, but as it relates to proposals that are submitted, that those can be, continue to be given to you in electronic format and don't have to be included. Because that's, the whole intent with the law change was that there were lawyers suing districts and governments because the packets were not ADA compliant. And like I said, the major issue was really dealing with procurement type documents.
So, Ms. Donaldson,
So just something
can
you
we,
consider about.
in our request for proposals, can we require the bidder, so to speak, to provide us an electronic copy that is ADA compliant?
We could, but if they, I don't know if I would be comfortable throwing a bidder out if it wasn't ADA compliant. I mean, it would be an interesting debate about if, right, if we threw someone out because they just gave us, normally they just put them on, it's the regular proposal in PDF and they don't ADA compliant. And it's just something I haven't had that question come up in any of my procurements.
Well, I think we're heading in that direction, you know, whether it's today or 5 years from now, I think that we're heading in that direction, just more and more stuff's going online. I just, for what we can put out there, I think we should. Somebody wants to come and review a proposal, then yes, then they're gonna have to come in here and do that.
So if everything, Laura, if everything was online and, as you say, we had an outside vendor that didn't have something in compliance, you know, how does that fly? Do we just make a notation online that need to come in and see that document, or how do we differentiate between what we're producing and what other folks are producing?
Right, I think, commissioners, what we could do is potentially, if we, like, let's say you have 10 contractors come in and all, you know, and it's 30 pages, 50 pages, I don't know. I just have dealt with some big procurements. We could put in that hard copies could be reviewed at the district headquarters. You know, the issue is that all those procurement documents would be given to the district's IT company. They would still have to go through to make sure it's ADA compliant. And the issue is really, I know you're focused on how much does it cost the district to do this, but the bigger issue is, we're just trying to avoid potential lawsuits related to not being in ADA compliance. Because that's really what's driven why the law was changed. But yeah, I think we could just put a note in saying procurement documents are available at the district headquarters. Because also be mindful that this is not just this board meeting. Your selection committees are in the sunshine. there's a lot of different meetings that are in the sunshine that we would still have to follow this same process, because they're required to have agendas. They're, you know, if we're posting everything online, let's say for a advisor, owner advisor selection committee, that's all those documents as well that's being considered. I think we can get to where the district wants to go if the board votes that everything is going online. Like, we can write the procurements to ensure some safety related to it, and Commissioner Chair Cox, I'll make sure it says, we're gonna throw you out if you don't submit something ADA compliance, and that will probably get their attention and make sure that they do it properly. That may be an easy way to do it, but we can work through the kinks if the board wants to continue having everything. The other thing I would suggest that the board needs to consider is the agenda is required to go 7 days prior. Oftentimes, all the documents associated with those agenda items may not be done. So then there's a timing issue, right? Is it, the statute used to say every document that was available at the time of the agenda being posted, that was what was required online. Because, I mean, right, because what if something was created yesterday and then we have to send it to the company who does the ADA compliance stuff to get it on? We may have a timing issue with some things.
So I hear you loud and clear. I see where the issue is, at least where I'm thinking about it, is everything we say committed to go online. Now we've got certain groups that will, and certain attorneys, like these ones that do class actions, that will try to pick it apart and figure out what opportunity they have. Yeah.
And that's really what's made the ADA compliance such a big issue in recent years, is there are groups going specifically to governmental entities pointing out, you know, you don't have this in ADA compliance, and filing lawsuits. That was a very big thing just a couple of years ago. And so it's tremendously important that we are in compliance with this, not only just because it's required by law, but also it opens us up for litigation.
Yeah, I just wanna see us move in that direction. Obviously, I wanna see us do it in a prudent manner that doesn't, you know, cause us any issues, but I just feel like it needs to go there. So I have a question, Edwin, is this something we could do in-house?
I think that we've had several conversations, I think myself.
Speak up, please.
Myself and Lindsay have had several conversations about this, and we've tried doing this in-house to make documents compliant. It's very, very involved process, so it would take a lot of man hours to continue to do that.
So that's why you outsource it to, who you're outsourcing it to?
So it's through Streamline, it's called Doc Access. Streamline is our host for our website right
Yep.
now. They help us with governmental compliance, period, but they have a bolt-on that is called Doc Access. So any document right now that you pull up on our website, you just click a button at the top and it converts it to ADA. So like Edwin mentioned, we tried a lot. We both have good experience in PDFs, and it was very challenging to meet those requirements. You'd load the document back in, it still wouldn't meet. I mean, we did it over and over, so we really did make every effort to try to do it in-house for this exact reason. They used to be at a rate of $7 per page. That's come down significantly, obviously. But, so that's why we chose to kind of go this route. And we had a deadline, it's 2027, but to meet that criteria. So this is the best, fastest solution, as fast as these documents go up. I mean, there is a time, it's usually within 24 hours that document is converted to ADA. So it's very handy, it's very good.
I mean, with AI, I would imagine it's just gonna continue to improve, right? So that sounds to me like that's a perfect job for AI.
This service is one of the driving forces behind moving to Streamline as the host for the website,
Yeah, sure,
converting
sure.
to a new website, because they have this feature available to us. One thing I will add for the discussion is if we are considering multiple forms of the board packet, to include a page or statement that any particular document would not be uploaded to the website, included in that board packet. That would just be another administrative step, that we would have to create a second board packet from the one that goes out to you all. So just more administrative time to compile that document.
Yeah, so I think this packet was 38 pages, I think. My memory serves me correctly, I don't know. Maybe that was just one of the attachments or something, but, 38 total? Okay, so, I mean, taking enough time on that. I interrupted you as you were giving your report.
Well, I was really looking for guidance from the board. How do you wish us to proceed in this? We have the option that's easier for us administratively to print a copy, have it available 30 minutes before a board meeting for members of the public to come in and review. Or do you want us to post the full board packets with the understanding that it is not only financially, it does cost us more for each one of these pages included, but also more of is it another step for our admin team?
Say make it easy and we can always add to it to do it online later.
I think we should, sounds like we're all just learning about all this. Everybody's, obviously we're behind you all. I think we should revisit it and do what you suggest right now, but revisit it in a couple of months, because it would become online. You know, and I think really hard about the vendors. I mean, you get a painting contractor or a plumbing smaller firm or something. I mean, this was addressed or talked about at the Chamber of Commerce meeting just last month. You know, they're struggling more than we are trying to come in compliance with these things. So I don't know that we want to eliminate vendors because of these changing times so quickly, changing requirements. But-
Okay, so we have consensus that to move forward with the way Adrian has laid it out. I would just like to, I'm fine with that for right now, because I understand there's some technical issues, but I would like to see some options to doing what every other government around us is doing things. I mean, you know, if the city of Newport Richey can do it, I think we can do it. So they obviously have either a program or something that they're utilizing for it.
So that probably should be an action item. One of our staff contacts them and find out their techniques. Agree?
Okay, so I think you have consensus.
Options. All right, thank you. So I also want to respond to the comment suggesting that public awareness of mosquito control or attention to the district's work is somehow a negative. I fundamentally disagree with that presence. For the past 6.5 years that I have been employed here, I've worked intentionally to ensure that the Pasco County Mosquito Control District operates openly, transparently, in full view of the taxpayers we service. We've heard comments about the information that we post online. For the last year, we were posting the full board packets online. This is a recurrent theme that you hear, us increasing transparency with everything we're doing. The district is funded with public dollars. We are entrusted with public health responsibilities, and we are accountable, you all as the board are accountable to the community. Hiding our work or minimizing public understanding of what we do would be inappropriate and inconsistent with what I feel is my responsibility as your executive director. Mosquito control is not something that should occur in the shadows. We operate a fully comprehensive, science-based public health service that protects the residents that support us financially. We support economic activity, improve quality of life. The public deserves to understand what we do, why we do it, and how their taxpayer funds are being used. Transparency, education, public engagement do not weaken this organization. This is not a negative. We strengthen it by informing the public what we do and how we're doing it. An informed public leads to better dialogue with our residents, better accountability, stronger support for the essential services the essential public health services that we provide in mosquito control. I welcome public awareness, the scrutiny, the engagement. We want our information shared. That's why we've doubled our education outreach team in the last couple of years. We're trying to engage with more stakeholders and more groups, advocate for openness in education, and I will continue to do that and treat those as core values of this district. So again, saying that attention to the district work is somehow a negative, I just vehemently disagree with that. And will continue to be a very strong proponent of outreach and education to inform the public on what we do at Mosquito Control.
Mr. Chair, can I just pop in on that really quickly?
Very
You know,
quickly, please.
As someone who represents special districts across the state, both individually and representing the Florida Association of Special Districts, I just want to confirm what the executive director said. We intentionally tell our members, I also tell my clients, it is very important for you to let the public know what you do. There is a bad thing about special districts being shadow governments. We're not shadow governments. There's nothing to hide. And especially in this time of property tax reform, it is very important for the public and your legislators and elected officials to know what you do.
Good point, thank you.
Appreciate that, thank you. Another item that was brought up recently is regarding competitive solicitations. So as part of our ongoing efforts, again, to strengthen transparency, encourage competition, and value in the district's procurement process, we have been exploring options to expand the distribution of these professional solicitations. So, moving forward, for anything that we are going to be posting, we'll be looking at additional procurement forums to try to cast a broader net to ensure that we're, again, greater awareness among qualified potential firms that we would be putting it out to. As part of our ongoing commitment to employee education and workforce development, the district had our quarterly education meeting with the 457B representative for deferred comp plan that the board had put in place to provide district staff with the information and guidance on retirement planning options, investment basics, available resources. So that did happen back in December, so since our last meeting. Additionally, since our December meeting, I presented at the quarterly meeting for the Florida Coordinating Council on Mosquito Control that is hosted and chaired through Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services about a week and a half ago, highlighting the Pasco and Health Alliance and the role that the Pasco County Mosquito Control District plays in our that innovative and groundbreaking initiative that we have through the Alliance, just showcasing our role in strengthening that cross-sector collaboration and advancing integrated public health and mosquito control efforts in our community. Last week, I attended the Florida Association of Special Districts Legislative Forum, had the opportunity to meet our newly appointed I think he was in office for one official day when I met with him, Senator Ralph Mazzullo, who was just sworn in, taking the seat that was left vacant from newly appointed CFO for Florida, Blaise Ingolia's position on the Senate. We had a very productive and positive discussion, providing a great opportunity to share what it is that we do here at Mosquito Control, because again, spreading that awareness is tremendously important for my directorship here, and so really working to establish that relationship with our brand new senator. Employee recognition through a private message on, oh, I'm sorry, I would have been telling you to advance the slides, I apologize for that, Edwin. Thank you, you can go a couple if you wouldn't mind. Employee recognition through a message on our social media page. We did have someone write in stating that they worked for Mosquito Control as a mosquito lab tech for Ada County mosquito abatement in Idaho, and they love seeing our posts, stating that they're very eye-catching and informative. In addition to that, we did have Mr. McFall celebrate 3 years as Ops Director with the district, so congratulations, Nick, in December.
You made it.
Great having him on board. We've
Made it,
made some
Michael.
positive changes with
Stick
him in that
around,
role.
Nick. Said I wouldn't be here, Michael, but I made it.
And the last item I have, we did receive via email, so I'll read this into the record for the board, that a member of the public who is participating via the meeting link this morning, not feeling well, will be able to attend, but want to make sure that we had this in advance. Otherwise, I'd be there to publicly thank the district for hearing the concerns of the citizens and putting it on the agenda for full transparency, for hopefully adapting a new policy procedure for this particular circumstance that's not been encountered before. Please pass my thanks along to those of the district and have a wonderful meeting. Amanda Weaver. So thank you for that. And that concludes my director's report for December.
Very good. Any questions of the director? All right, move on to Community Outreach Education Report. Ms. Johnson.
Happy New Year, everybody.
There it is.
Happy New Year. So just to remind the commissioners and our residents that the outreach department plays a key role in our mosquito management program by educating the public, engaging with the Pasco community, and promoting prevention efforts. Through education, we raise awareness and encourage active participation in mosquito control measures that help protect people, pets, and the environment. And I would like to thank Director Rogers for giving us all that opportunity to be able to reach out to our community, because it is super important and they do love what we do. And I hear that all the time. So here in December, or last month I should say in December, since we met at our last board meeting, Karen did a speaking event at a CDD meeting at Talavera in Land of Lakes. A team of us here at Mosquito Control were honored to participate in West Pasco Heroes Day at the Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Tent, which was a meaningful day spent honoring local heroes. So they invited us once again to do that. And we served those in need and gave back to our community. So that was really awesome to do together. Here in January, we're obviously off and running in the outreach department, and we had our first quarter Pasco One Health Alliance meeting. Fire Rescue was our host. We had it there at Safety Town, and for those of you that don't know, the Home Depot building is being remodeled inside, and they have some nice conference rooms in there. But the partner spotlight was the Pasco County Fire Rescue Department highlighted the mobile integrated health program with their community paramedics. And Chief From, the fire marshal, and Eric Monroe, which is an RN EMT that runs the mobile integrated health, presented and did a fantastic job informing all of us what that was all about. A lot of us had heard about it, but we really didn't know, and so that's really the goal of Pasco One Health Alliance, is to bring us all together. We had a community event at Pioneer Museum called the Raising Cane and Moonshine Festival. In January here, Karen has been off and running now with schools, and so she had a school program, a 2-day school program. Last Friday, I gave a custom tour to someone that came up to me and said, our family's in town and we would love to come tour mosquito control. Who would have thought? They were here from New York and everywhere else, but they came and toured, and this is one of their quotes. I can't thank you enough for the wonderful tour on Friday. Everyone thought it was fun and interesting. Everyone there is great. My group did not want to leave and they kept talking about it over lunch afterwards. I'll spread the word, much appreciated. And then we just, this last weekend, did a community event for a Pasco Appreciation Day car show. So we also prioritize each month building connections with Pasco County residents through a variety of networking and speaking events, recognizing that strong community engagement is vital to effective mosquito control.
Very
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Maria, appreciate it. Safety report, Mr. Anniversary Man, Nick?
We've had no safety incidents last month, or we didn't have any training last month.
Very good.
Good report. All right, arborvirus report. Agna, no?
Agna had to leave unexpectedly, so I've got the report here. So I'll present the total numbers for the 2025 calendar year in Florida, and then of course touch on Pasco numbers as well. So from January, beginning of January through the end of December 2025, West Nile virus activity in Florida, there were 7 asymptomatic blood donors, 6 symptomatic human identified, 1 horse, 1 duck, and 402 sentinel chickens. We had 31 sentinel chickens positive for West Nile in Pasco of those 402 throughout the state. For St. Louis encephalitis virus, there were 4 sentinel chickens throughout the state. We had 0 in Pasco. Eastern equine encephalitis virus, there were 9 horses identified, 2 emus, 1 flock of emus, 1 goat, 62 sentinel chickens, 1 of which was from Pasco County. Dengue, there were 429 travel associated cases throughout the state, 2 of which were in Pasco. There were 62 locally acquired cases of dengue throughout the state, 1 case in Pasco. 4 additional mosquito pools tested positive for dengue virus in 2025. For chikungunya virus, there were 328 travel-related cases identified, 2 in Pasco, with 1 locally acquired case in the state of Florida for chikungunya in 2025. Malaria, there were 49 cases identified in the state of Florida that were travel-related, 1 of which was in Pasco. For Orapooch, there was 1 travel-related case throughout the state, none in Pasco for 2025. So this year, we've already seen several instances of mosquito-borne disease activity throughout the state in 2026, even though we're just a couple short weeks into the month of January. So the numbers so far this year for the state of Florida, West Nile virus, there have been 4 sentinel chickens identified, none in Pasco. Eastern equine encephalitis virus, there were 3 sentinel chickens identified in the state of Florida, none in Pasco. For dengue virus, there have been 12 travel-related cases identified throughout the state, none in Pasco. For chikungunya virus, there have been 51 travel-related cases identified throughout Florida, none in Pasco. One locally acquired chikungunya virus case in Florida, none in Pasco. For malaria, there have been 2 travel-related cases identified in the state and none in Pasco. So currently, under mosquito-borne illness advisories, we have 3 counties, Duval, Hernando, and Leon counties, and then additionally, Brevard and Miami-Dade are under mosquito-borne illness alerts.
Very good, thank you.
And that concludes the arbovirus report.
All right, any questions? No? Okay, good of the order. Commissioner Abbott, you have anything today, sir?
I do. Just one item, and that's I'd like to bring back to the agenda discussion maybe next month is private road agreement on Marathon Road, and see what we can do to get that moving forward.
Good point.
That's all for me.
All right, Commissioner Evans.
I just want to thank everyone for doing a spectacular job and look forward to a uneventful 2026.
Amen. Anything else? Good?
That's
All right.
good.
All right, so a couple things that I have. I'd like to know how, so we revamped, maybe it's too soon to know, but we revamped the health insurance for the district, and I'm just wanting to know how that's going.
In terms
Maybe
of,
that, in terms of.
In terms
how
of,
much
I
we
mean,
paid so far? or
Well,
what have
people getting,
their experience,
yeah, I wanna know what,
I mean, I would say it's mixed reviews, yeah.
it's mixed?
Yeah, nothing that really is in our hands, but it's just a new plan, a new carrier. It has, I would say, a little bit more restrictiveness because it's just one plan, HMO versus PPO, so some options are limited. The task, once all the bugs have been worked out, I think it's good, and task has been good, fingers crossed, for the most part.
Without its issues.
At least when the situation comes up, we've been able to get it, I think, resolved somewhat quickly, especially after some very direct comments back to task from some of our employees, which is good. They need that feedback. But I would say move forward, maybe? Yeah.
Okay.
Just learning a lot of things moving forward for next year.
You know, so one thing I've brought up a couple times is trying to partner with, like Premier, to try to provide some services, the county has, and the school district. Obviously, they have thousands of employees. I don't know if the sheriff does this or not, but, they have, clinics that the employees can go to, and obviously, we're way too small from an economies of scale size to do something that's just dedicated to that, but us partnering with maybe Premier to provide some of those services. I'd just like to have y'all explore that, maybe it be a better experience for the employees. So, throw that out. The other thing I had is I just would like to know how's the notification system going as far as enrollments and people using the app. I mean, I signed up and I get it all, which I need to figure out how to shut some of that stuff off.
So the motion I'm getting from Edwin in the back of the room is, it sounds like we have about 500 people signed up currently. Again, just trying to continue to increase awareness that we are offering this service now. So any way that you all, if you're interacting with the public, continue to please promote that and encourage participation. And, those who have provided feedback, very much like that we are offering this now. And so I think it's been very well received to those who are aware of it. But as we struggle with everything, just getting our message out there, we're utilizing the means that we have available to us. So continue to spread the word.
All right, well, if we can do some specific postings online, what I always find that works really good is anytime we're doing presentations to maybe 401k participants and stuff like that we do in our personal business, when we put our PowerPoint together, we put a QR code up there and say, you need to download the app on your phone so you can get that. So go ahead and hit the QR code now. Everybody whips out their phones and they start doing it. So I don't know if you're doing that.
It is, but I have heard feedback that that's a great feature we have, but they don't want any text alerts on their phones. So people get text alerted for everything.
Yeah.
Even when they're opting in or not opting in, they're automatically getting these things.
Yeah.
So I have heard a few people, that's a really great feature, but we're just gonna, I let them know you can go on the website and see if you type in your address as well, so they'd rather do that instead. So you get mixed, things and not getting alerted. So, but we do have it in our presentation, Commissioner, absolutely, 100%.
Do we have any type of printed,
We
little
do.
postcard that we
Yeah,
can,
and
maybe
the
the three of us could hand out and stuff when we're out
And
and
the
about?
team has them too,
Okay.
to give to to the residents that they come across or anybody, so.
We also have QR code decals
Mhm.
on our vehicles now.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're trying to spread
Yep,
it
yep.
through
Okay.
Yeah.
various means. But again, and our following isn't huge, so yes, every time we're interacting with the public, we've got in our presentations that QR
Yeah.
code that'll take you there. So we can give you more printouts of the flyer to hand out to people. That would, anytime you need more copies of that, we can certainly provide it.
All right, well, thank you for that, and, you know, again, I appreciate the great job y'all are doing and keeping us safe, so thank you. All right, upcoming meetings and events, so regular board meeting 9 AM unless otherwise noted. So, next meeting will be the February 12th and March 17th. Events we have going on, so January 26th through the 29th is the Florida Mosquito Control Association's DOD courses. February 2nd through the 4th is Florida Mosquito Control Tallahassee Days. And February 16th is President's Day. I think all of us are gonna be attending DOD, right?
Yes.
And the Commissioner and Directors Day. And who all's going to Tallahassee? What is it, on the 3rd for lobbying? Well, I know it's 2nd through the 4th, but.
Yes, that Tuesday will be the actual day
Yeah.
that's dedicated to meetings at the Capitol. This year, just like last year, for the second year in a row, it does coincide with Pasco Day at the
Yeah,
Capitol.
yeah.
So that will make scheduling meetings with our delegation a little more difficult, because they already have a lot of activities planned for the day. And Pasco constituents from various sectors will be in Tallahassee for these activities as well. So it will pose to be a little bit of a challenge to get a set meetings with our delegation, but it is the same day, and so, you know, we have options of joining in those festivities or trying to schedule meetings on our own.
So our folks at Sunrise are working to get us meetings?
So our folks at Sunrise have encouraged that we consider participating in the events that are already occurring, given that it will be very difficult to have scheduled one-on-ones with the delegation.
So Commissioner Abbott, you're going, I plan on going
To Dodd or Tallahassee?
Tallahassee.
I am not going.
Okay.
I cannot.
Okay.
And I will be attending as well.
Okay, right, okay, all right.
This Friday, you're probably aware that Sunrise and Jaeger are sponsoring an event here locally.
Yes.
HCA Hospital.
Right. All right, anything else?
For me.
Nope. Encourage a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, here, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye, aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.